Jack Jones, your first rookie to start, if Tyquan Thornton hadn't gotten hurt. This could be Tyquan Thornton week. We don't know. Yeah. Practice opens up this week. He is eligible to come off short-term IR. They could start the clock on him, start practicing. You have to assume when Thornton begins practicing, he'll probably play that week, or soon after, because he's not talking about an injury you got to work your way back from. He's just talking about getting it. You're talking about getting, conditioning or whatever, but it's really, once it's healed, then he can play. Once he's good enough to practice, he's probably good enough to play. So it could happen. It also could be a week or two. You don't really know. But this to me was the biggest bummer of the season because we were so infatuated, went to training camp several times. You couldn't take your eyes off Tyquan Thornton. And it wasn't because he was spectacular. It's because everything was so clean. Just the way he moved, the way he ran, it was like easy speed. I'm going to take Dennis Eckersley, announcer for the Red Sox. He's retiring this year. He has a phrase called easy cheese, which means a fastball that all of a sudden gets up there and you look at the gun and you're like, that was 100. Tyquan Thornton's got that easy speed. He just goes. Yeah. But on top of that, his cuts were sharp. He was able to get off the line. You were worried about the physicality, but he was so quick off the line. He was able to get releases, and his hands, he caught everything that was thrown his way. He was just and you just couldn't wait to see, what are you going to do with this new toy? Did we finally hit on a receiver? And then he gets hurt. How exciting is the possibility that he could join this offense and add a different dynamic? And again, I don't know what kind of dynamic a player like him adds when you're talking about Bailey Zappi as your quarterback, but there's only so much you can do. But still, you're talking about another gear that the offense doesn't currently have.
Absolutely. And he's one of those guys where, yes, he's obviously fast, but as you touched on, the quickness is there. And the best thing the part about Tyquan Thornton that excites me the most, obviously the physical skill set's there. A lot of guys in the NFL with great skill sets who don't even see the field. Tyquan really works hard to improve, and he's very conscious of what he doesn't do well. I believe his second to last year in college, he was criticized a lot for not coming down with contested catches. And he worked on that. And it was a legitimate criticism when he was, I don't know when he graduated, whether he was a junior or senior, but his second to last year, it was a legitimate criticism. And then it turned out once he was going through the whole draft circuit, that was just speculation because he was catching everything. And people were acknowledging, if you watch this kid, he works on it. And you see significant improvement in him every year that he was in college. And when you hear him speak, he clearly is a student of the game. He has a fantastic attention to detail. And that's what you want from a rookie quarterback or from a rookie wide receiver who you expect to take the field early, especially in a group of veterans who've already proven themselves in the NFL, in some capacity. Still have to prove themselves in this offense. I think Nelson Aguilar is doing a great job. Devontae Parker is still flashing. You can see what happens with Mac. Feed Kendrick Bourne, please. But Tyquan Thornton comes. I think he takes more of Humphrey's role because we saw him a lot in the box. But you wouldn't expect from a guy with Tyquan Thornton's frame, but he's tough as hell. He's one of those Florida boys. Those Florida boys don't mess around. They got a different mentality where they may be a little slight, but it's the edge that puts them over the top. So it's very exciting. Not only can he be that deep threat, but he can be the guy who separates with quickness and then uses that speed to turn, the 5-yard slant into a 40-yard gain, if not a house call. So it's exciting. And in a receiver, you also would hope that you could rely on more consistently and someone who would have a more solid role than pretty much anyone not named Aguilar or Jacoby Myers. Everybody else seems to be more spot contributors, but second round receiver, he's going to be getting his touches.
And again, I think the plan, just the way things were trending in camp, was not only for him there was some thought because of his slight frame that he could be one of those, fake medical red shirt sort of situations, Foxborough flu, conjure an injury and let him kind of grow in the system for a year, get a little bit bigger, get a little stronger, and then look what he does in year 2. That's not what they were doing with him. And the fact that he did get hurt and he went on short-term IR, they want this guy to play. And I think they really were enamored by what they saw. So this is another potentially exciting thing, which we might not actually see the full potential of it right out of the gate, but it's definitely something to get excited about going forward.